Jacob Fatu is here and just took down Roman Reigns.
In the world of professional wrestling, some moments transcend scripted rivalries and choreographed moves, spilling into raw, unfiltered human emotion. This is one of those moments, a story of family, honor, loyalty, and brutal retribution that has sent shockwaves through WWE and the entire wrestling community. If you thought the vicious attack on Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris was the end of the saga, think again. What followed was a chilling and relentless retaliation led by none other than Jacob Fatu, a warrior who embodies the fierce spirit of the Samoan bloodline. Buckle up, because this isn't just wrestling. It's a story of family justice carved in pain, rage, and unyielding loyalty. The night that changed everything. Clash in Paris. Picture this. The historic La Fence Arena in Paris, filled with over 20,000 passionate wrestling fans, buzzing with energy and anticipation. Roman Reigns, known to millions as the Tribal Chief, had just cemented his dominance by defeating Bronson Reed in a hard-fought battle. The crowd erupted in cheers, showering Roman with adoration. To the outside world, it was another triumphant night for WWE's top star. But beneath the surface of victory and celebration lurked a sinister darkness. As Roman soaked in the applause, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. What was supposed to be a moment of glory turned into a nightmare that would redefine the fate of the tribal chief and ignite a war that none would forget. Without warning, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker unleashed a merciless, calculated ambush. This wasn't a clash of competitive spirit. It was cold-blooded aggression designed to hurt, to dismantle, and to humiliate. The two men attacked Roman with vicious intent, striking with a ferocity that stunned the crowd and sent waves of shock throughout the WWE Universe. A warrior's blood boils. Jacob Fatu's awakening. What most fans didn't see in the chaos of that night was a shadow watching from afar. Jacob Fatu, a fellow Samoan warrior and loyal protector of the bloodline. The attack on Roman wasn't just an isolated incident to him. It was a personal affront, a violation of sacred family bonds that demanded swift and merciless retaliation. For days after the attack, backstage sources revealed that Fatu was consumed by a burning rage. His usual calm demeanor gave way to something primal, a relentless fury stoked by the knowledge that his cousin lay injured and vulnerable. Reports describe him pacing the WWE corridors like a caged predator, his mind consumed by plans for retribution. This wasn't a simple wrestler's grudge match anymore. It was about honor, loyalty, and the deep cultural heritage of the Samoan warrior code. Jacob wasn't just seeking revenge. He was preparing to deliver justice so absolute that no one would dare challenge the bloodline again. Planning the retaliation, surgical precision in vengeance. Jacob Fatu's response was as calculated as it was savage. He studied every frame of security footage from the Paris attack, memorizing the exact sequence of moves that had left Roman so severely injured. He knew the injuries inflicted, multiple fractured ribs, and vowed to make those responsible feel the same pain. His retaliation wasn't born of blind rage. It was cold, methodical, and surgical. He communicated to his cousin, Solo Sikoa. They put Roman in the hospital for months. I'm going to make sure they understand what that feels like. Those words weren't empty threats. They were a promise. Over the following weeks, Fatu tracked the movements and habits of Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, gathering intelligence and biding his time. The man was like a predator stalking prey, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when it came, the WWE world would never forget the ferocity unleashed. The Performance Center Assault. Justice served cold. The first phase of Fatu's revenge unfolded at what should have been a routine WWE Performance Center training session. Bronson Reed, perhaps feeling untouchable after the Paris attack, was going about his workout, unaware that his reckoning was moments away. Witnesses describe a sudden, eerie silence descending over the gym, a primal tension so palpable that everyone sensed something was about to erupt. And then, without warning, Jacob Fatu emerged from the shadows like a force of nature. But this wasn't the Fatu fans knew from his matches. This was a warrior fueled by ancestral rage, his eyes blazing with the fury of generations. At 270 pounds of raw power, he crashed into Reed with the impact of a Pacific tsunami, sending shockwaves through the entire facility. What followed was more than an attack. It was systematic annihilation. Every strike was precise, every move designed to break Reed down exactly as he had broken Roman. Fatu targeted Reed's ribs, the very same injuries Reed had inflicted, with devastating knee strikes and brutal body shots. Each blow was a message, screamed with every Samoan drop slammed onto the unforgiving concrete floor. The parking garage showdown, Bron Breakker's reckoning. With Reed broken and hospitalized, Fatu's mission was far from over. The second target was Bron Breakker, the co-conspirator who had joined Reed in shattering the tribal chief. Late one evening, Breakker was leaving his hotel, likely believing he had escaped Fatu's wrath. But fate had other plans. The dimly lit parking garage, the sound of heavy footsteps grew closer, each one filled with the ominous promise of retribution. When Breakker turned, he found himself face to face with Jacob Fatu, bloodied but unyielding, eyes burning with unfinished business. "You helped put my tribal chief in the hospital for months," Fatu said, his voice icy enough to freeze hell itself. "Now you answer to the bloodline." What followed was a savage, merciless onslaught unlike anything the WWE world had seen. Fatu unleashed a storm of devastating superkicks that sent Breakker crashing into parked cars, setting off alarms that screamed throughout the garage, a chaotic symphony of destruction. But the carnage didn't stop there. Grabbing Breakker, Fatu executed a series of bone-crushing Samoan drops onto the cold concrete, each one reverberating like a seismic shock. Fatu screamed with fury, "This is for every day Roman will be out, for every championship you cost him, for disrespecting the bloodline." The final brutal blow was a Samoan spike that left Breakker unconscious and broken, sprawled across the cold, unforgiving floor. WWE's crisis, punishing loyalty or encouraging violence. Jacob Fatu's vigilante justice has thrown WWE management into uncharted waters. How do you discipline a man for defending his family when millions see his actions as righteous? Sources inside WWE headquarters describe emergency meetings lasting through the night, as executives wrestled with the implications. On one hand, Fatu clearly broke company policy by resorting to real violence. On the other, punishing him risks alienating fans who view him as a hero, protecting family honor. Triple H, WWE's chief content officer and a wrestling veteran himself, reportedly feels torn. Understanding the weight of family loyalty, he's sympathetic to Fatu's motivations, but the company can't endorse violent vigilantism without consequences. Some executives argue that Reed and Breakker brought this on themselves with their reckless attack, calling Fatu's revenge justified family justice. Others worry about the dangerous precedent set. The bloodline's wrath reshapes. WWE Jacob Fatu's brutal retaliation has changed the game forever. Reed and Breakker learned a harsh truth. When you put Roman Reigns in the hospital, you don't just face one man, You face an entire family of warriors. Fatu has established himself as WWE's most fearsome protector, a warrior brother who will stop at nothing to defend the bloodline. Whether you agree with his methods or not, his loyalty and ferocity are undeniable. Roman may be out long-term, but his family's message has never been clearer. The bloodline protects its own, and those who threaten it will pay in blood and pain. Want daily knowledge drops? Subscribe now. Your brain will thank you later.